so excited about this. I've been a Stryper fan my whole life. I was raised on Stryper. You guys, as a band, are the band that helped my dad find his faith and become a Christian. So, all the years talking to Michael, you have no idea how excited I am to speak with you because you don't really do a lot of interviews.
Well, back in the 80s, I used to probably do 75%, but, I wanted, my brother to catch up and be able to, he does good interviews, but, it was kind of, we kind of switched there, but, I like doing interviews. It's not that I don't like doing them. I just, kind of let Michael take the reins and, he felt really good about doing it. And, but, whenever there's something for me to speak about or whenever I get an opportunity, I'm always there to do it.
Yeah, definitely excited. To hell with the amps. It's been out for about a week now, but before we get to the record, I've got to ask, how is Oz doing?
He's doing good. I haven't got to speak with him, but I've seen the texts and stuff from his wife, and it looks like the operation went well. It was a bummer that he had to have it a second time, actually a third time now. But he's doing good.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I saw that announcement go up last Tuesday, my heart just dropped, to hear that he's doing well. I mean, I can't imagine what that must do to you guys to know that he's going through that. But for us fans, man, to know that he's doing well just makes us all rest so much easier because
Well,
he's such a good
well,
guy, so good. Yeah.
well, thank you. And he is a good guy, and we're glad he's doing well. And we really appreciate the fans' support and how nice everyone has been. We didn't know it was coming, but we're glad he's okay.
Hmm. Absolutely. You guys are going to be going
And you
out.
know what? I'm really glad when you said earlier that your dad was a fan and you were a fan. I just wanted to thank you for that. I mean,
Oh,
Stryper was always a band that, if we didn't have our fans, we really didn't have much because radio pretty much never really played us, and it's kind of been an uphill battle. So we really appreciate your support, and we thank you for that. We really do.
oh yeah, man, you guys were oh my God, such a huge part of my life just growing up, to see my dad just grow in his faith over the years because of your guys' music. It was you guys, Petra, Bride, and Guardian were the four that I heard the most growing up. But I heard you guys the
Yeah.
most out of everybody. Just
Yeah.
because, yeah.
Well, we wanted to, we're a real rock band. A lot of people have asked us, are you Christians that decided to play rock music? Well, we're actually rock musicians who are
Hmm.
Christians. Not that Christianity is second, that's first. But unfortunately, that categorized a lot of bands, and, it was a way to kind of separate bands where they couldn't get out there. And we knew that right off the bat. And, eventually a lot of people did classify us as a Christian band. And what that did is that put us over in the Christian section of the record buying store. And, we didn't want that. We are Christians. We're
Hmm.
totally proud of it. As you can see, man, we put it out louder and prouder than anyone. We love Jesus, but our goal was to kind of go into the music scene that I really have looked at as the devil's business. When you see what happens in a lot of the music of our era and even now, and we wanted to put some good words in there. We wanted to infect it by the power of the Holy Spirit and begin to eat away at that virus called evil that is so much in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like the first, I was lucky to be there the first time he saw you guys. And that is one thing that I've always loved is that you guys don't necessarily play in the Christian market. The first time he saw you guys was with Queensryche at the Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, Iowa. And to be with him for the first time seeing you guys after all those years, he did the meet and greet just to see how excited he was. Man, your music has touched so many people. You know, it is just awesome to see. And the fact that you guys are still going and doing new stuff and innovative stuff, it's just, it's awesome, you know, and that's what this record
Well,
is.
thank you. Thank you very much. And Stryper's actually, I want to say we've been out for 41 to 42 years, but it's 40 years since our first record was
Hmm.
released. And,
Yeah.
it's an honor for us to hear good words like that and to hear that people's lives have been affected. And
Mhm.
man, I hope it's way more than what I've been told. And I've been told a lot of stories over the last 40 years. So that's such a wonderful thing to hear because we know God's word, man, when it goes out, man, it changes people's life. It doesn't return void. It's not
Yeah.
empty. It's a powerful message. And we're just honored that we could be used in, whether it's on MTV or in the, regular rock and roll industry,
Hmm.
when we've been out at shows, playing with huge bands, who we know they don't know Jesus. We don't want to push it on anybody. We don't do that. We just do our thing. And hopefully people hear the words and something good will come from it. But we're real happy that it's touched people like your dad or you or so
Hmm.
many others. That's a great joy for us.
Absolutely. And I'm loving, I love acoustic versions of songs. So when you guys announced this album, I was ecstatic. I was so excited when I heard that this was going to be coming out and sitting down to listen to Hell with the Amps. Man, it lives up to it in so many ways. And one thing I think is really cool is you guys don't just stick to the classic era. You guys threw in, you know, stuff from Reborn, No More Hell to Pay. It is Make You Mine and No More Hell to Pay, which was a really cool surprise. Is that what made you guys decide to throw in all eras and not just the classic era?
Uh, that was pretty much, I would say, Michael's decision. He's kind of the music director for the band. And we just basically said, Michael, whatever you feel good about. And that's what we went with. And, we've done the acoustic thing before.
Hmm.
It's actually kind of fun if you want to know the truth. I mean, I know most people want to see us with, everything cranked up, and we love that. That's been our mainstay. But it's kind of nice for me to go out and do the acoustic stuff and not end up, drenched in sweat where I got to peel my clothes off, and my hair's in knots, and my fingers are bleeding, and it's kind of nice to do the acoustic thing every now and then. So we got, as far as I can see right now, there's at least a month worth of dates we're doing.
Hmm.
And it's really a lot of fun. I want to encourage, anyone that hears us to come out and see it acoustically. I'll be playing I got from Yamaha, a little cocktail kit, and everything's kind of toned down, but it's more personal. And actually it's really kind of cool. I think most people would be surprised.
What, how does everybody obviously knows, you know, how going acoustic affects, you know, Oz and Michael, but how does going acoustic affect you as the drummer with how you play and what you play?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't slam that stuff as hard as I do live because it would break.
Yeah.
But I just do a toned down version of it, but it's still really playing drums. It's not like I'm sitting on a box hitting the side of it. I'm playing a real drum set. So I'm still doing it. And when we first did the acoustic show years ago, we were a little bit concerned, and then we saw the vibe it was creating. We saw people's reaction to it, and it was really positive. And most people said, hey, this kind of gives us a chance to be more open with you, ask you questions, sit
Mhm.
closer, hear the songs in a way we haven't heard them before. So it actually, for me, is kind of fun. I mean, believe me, I love drumming, swinging as hard as I can and, doing my thing, but it is pretty tiring.
Yeah.
There are times I get off stage and I'm doing good to stand up. I'm so tired. But this one, I get to not be quite so wiped out, but we're all playing still. Everything's
Right.
real. We're doing it. And, after this tour, we've got a loud one coming up.
Awesome. Okay. Um, awesome. One thing I really love is you guys don't necessarily, there's some songs on the record where it's like, yeah, it's obviously definitely like straightforward acoustic version of the song, but there's a few you guys really switch up the take on the song and the version, like completely reimagined. Um, honestly and always there for you. Like I never thought I would hear honestly without the piano, but honestly,
Right.
and no pun intended, but honestly love the guitar version of it. Um, was the guitar version what came first back in the day, or was it always the piano?
No, the piano version came first, and then Oz kind of sat down and had some ideas with the guitar, and we started doing it. And things changed up a little bit for the acoustic version, but we're really happy to be able to do it. I've
Yeah,
always been one. I love piano ballads, but really, for my taste, I prefer guitar ballads,
same,
and
same.
I think it turned out really well
Yeah,
with the acoustic version of it. Yeah, I'm real
yes,
happy to be able to do it that way.
yes. Um, I read that this has been 7 years in the making. What's the journey been like for those 7 years? What was it about the process that took 7 years to do? And it's obviously got to feel so much more validating knowing this record took as long as it did off and on, and it's been received as well as it has been.
I don't really know all the ins and outs.
Mm,
I'll go into the studio and record stuff, and then I'll leave and the guys finish it up, kind of thing. So when there's a delay, I don't always know quite why.
mm.
I'm sure the pandemic played a part in
Oh
things.
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure, record releases, you can't have one record coming out going on top of another. Uh, I don't totally know why, but it was, you know, something we did a while ago, and for whatever reason, it's coming out now. It just, I'm not the planner of all this stuff, so a lot of times things that happen, I won't know. I'll find out later, but
right.
it just seemed to be that this was a good time to do it.
Mhm. Yes. Um, any input on why you guys decided to go with the blue and black stripes instead of the yellow and black? It kind of throw back to against the law a little bit. When I saw the blue and black, I thought,
Blue and black. I mean, it's at. This is going to sound funny here, but I haven't even seen the record.
oh,
So,
gotcha. Yeah, it's the blue and black stripes this time around instead of the yellow and
well, on
black.
that one, I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I don't know there.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll see the product after it comes out because, uh, there's just a delay,
Hmm.
for the artist. But
Makes
I don't
sense.
know.
Okay. Makes
I'm
sense.
not sure, but maybe it was Michael's idea. I'm not sure, but
I really like it.
maybe you'll get a chance to ask him in the future, and he can tell you.
I may have to do that. You guys are going to be coming to Indy at the Vogue on June 16th on Father's Day, which for all of us dads is the perfect way to get to get out of the house and go catch a rock show. Indy's always been good to you guys the last few times you've been here. Last two times of the Vogue, and then the Rocktoberfest with Petra and Whitecross. Indy always seems to be, at least the last few times, a great market for you guys. There's just something about the Midwest and rock and roll, man. How pumped are you guys to get back here to Indianapolis?
Well, it is a great place, isn't it? I mean, the Midwest is awesome. Really,
Yeah.
all of the U.S. is awesome, but there's
Mhm.
something special about the Midwest for us. So, maybe I'll, get to see your dad on Father's Day then.
I hope so. He was here. My dad's living in Iowa. I'm here in Indy, but he's driven from
Oh,
Iowa
okay.
to here specifically just to see Stryper. So I wouldn't put him past it to come out here
Okay.
um, for
Well,
that
maybe
show.
I'll get to see you.
I hope so. I'm pretty much telling my wife I'm
That'd
coming,
be nice.
so we'll see how that goes
All
over.
right. Good. Okay. I think you'll like it, man. I really do.
Yeah. One thing I've always wanted to ask you personally, I've never had a chance to, is when you're on stage, you're sitting sideways, so the fans get a perfect clear shot of you while you're playing, which is very different. And you were just slamming and slamming and slamming. You play harder than anybody I've ever seen. But why do you decide to sit sideways on the kit or have the kit facing sideways instead of straight forward?
You know, I when I started playing drums, I kind of was a little frustrated with watching drummers because their kit always hid them.
Hmm.
Especially if you're in the audience, you couldn't really see what they were doing. So in 1979, I turned my drum set sideways,
Hmm.
and ever since then, I've had people go, "Why do you do that?" And I wanted to be different.
Hmm.
And I found people go, "I can't remember the guy's name, but he was that guy that turned sideways." And I went, "Okay, great, it's working." And I just want to give people a different view, so they could see actually what's happened, and to be different. I love being different whenever I can be.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
It's as
fun, it's kind of, doing my own thing, and hopefully people like it.
As a photographer, I'm so thankful that you do that because I'm the same way. For one, as a fan, I can't always see the drummer, but as a photographer, I want that photo of the drummer because you guys are the most animated people on the stage, especially you personally, individually. And so, like, as somebody down in the pit shooting photos, I'm so thankful that you do that because I can see you, just like you said, like you're not blocked. It's so
Well,
refreshing
that's good, man.
to have that.
Well,
Um,
there you go. That's why I
yeah.
did it.
Next year, we're coming up on, it's hard to believe, but next year, 2005, 20 years since Reborn next year. Is that something you guys think about at all when those milestones come up? And is that a time in the band that you like to look back on at all?
Well, gosh, of course we think about it. We're always blown away with how fast time seems to go by.
I know, it's
I
insane.
mean, for me, doing the big rock shows in the 80s, and, you know, 20, basically almost 20 years now doing it a second time, all the places we've been. And, I'll talk to someone, they'll say, "Yeah, that was 10 years ago." I'm like, "Man, it went by quick."
Mhm.
Um, and I always tell people, "Yeah, that was 20 Christmases ago." And that makes it seem longer. But I'm always blown away with how quick time flies. And, that's why we have to make the most of our lives if we can while we have it, because it really does go by quick.
Yeah, it's it's crazy to think that was that long ago. And it's almost like you guys have had two careers, you know? Um,
Yes.
and the fact that you guys in this second era of Stryper continue to put out music that is consistently as good as it is just amazing. And as a fan, I can't thank you enough for what you guys do.
Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Man, it's hard to believe the tour starts next week, going out on the road, starting in Woodstock, Georgia, coming up to Indianapolis on Father's Day. About a month-long acoustic tour. Man, Robert, I cannot wait to see you here in Indianapolis. This record is absolutely amazing, and there's so many layers, just so much going on in this album. You cannot get a true appreciation for it in just one listen. You've got to listen to the thing just over and over and over, and it's just something fresh every time. You guys killed it.